Some of the questions that people have, things like, when will my landline be switched off, And basically at the end of December 2025, your existing Pstn lines, or if it's just an existing landline like that, will be switched off, along with all the other fixed lines, which include broadband, and this will be no longer available. In fact, BT are going to stop selling these products starting next year. I'm Mark Riddell from M3 Networks. We are an IT support and cybersecurity specialist, because we know that running a business is hard enough as it is, right, without IT causing more headaches and frustration, which is why we aim to make IT an enjoyable experience for our customers. If you'd like to find out more about what we do, check us out at m3networks.co.uk. Welcome to the Techcess podcast. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to be telling you everything that you need to know about SoGEA. Now, SoGEA, or SoGEA, is a new technology that is coming to the telecoms market. Now, I always promise here in the show to never talk about, technical stuff or use a lot of acronyms. I try and make everything that I talk about easily and accessible for everyone to understand. So first of all, what does SoGEA even stand for, right? So let's get the acronym out of the way. So it stands for Single Order Generic Ethernet Access. And basically what it is, it's a new way of providing broadband access to homes and businesses. Now, typically in the past, you would have ordered a line and then had broadband enabled on that line. So there would have been, a normal, voice phone line, and then broadband would be added onto it. But of course, over the years, as more people have relied on VoIP and, the use of mobiles, even in business, the use of a landline number that's on that broadband circuit has faded away. So nowadays, so many people just have broadband just for internet access. Like, for example, here at home, we have a typical broadband line with fibre to the cabinet service, but we have a line with that service enabled on it, right? And there's a phone number, but we never use that phone number. In fact, we don't even have a telephone plugged into it. We all just rely on our mobile phones. And of course, that's probably the same for you and for other people that that we just rely on mobile technology instead of using a landline telephone nowadays. So the whole idea behind this is to have a much simpler and easier and more efficient way for you to get hold of a fast internet connection. So why now? Why are we talking about this now, and what is the main reasons and driving forces behind, moving to this new technology? Well, it's all to do with the big Pstn switch off, which is coming in 2025 as part of Digital Britain. And basically what's going to happen is the existing Pstn, and sorry to throw another acronym in today's episode, but it stands for the Public Switch Telephone Network. And this was, the original BT network, made up of traditional copper, wire telephone systems. And it was designed for analog voice communications, okay? And something called ISDN, which a lot of you businesses out there might have ISDN lines that are still powering your phone systems on premise, was introduced back in the 1980s, and a digital version of the analog phone line, which allowed the transfer of voice and data over the existing copper lines. So some of the questions that people might have, and some of the conversations I'm having a lot at the moment with businesses, is about preparing for this switch off. And some of the questions that people have, things like, when will my landline be switched off, And basically at the end of December 2025, your existing Pstn lines, or just your, if it's just an existing landline like that, will be switched off, along with all the other fixed lines, which include broadband, and this one will be no longer available. In fact, BT are going to stop selling these products starting next year. So, even 2 years before the switch off, you will no longer be able to buy any of the older technology, the older products. You'll be forced to buy things like SoGEA, which we're talking about today, fibre to the cabinet, which a lot of businesses kind of have in place already. This is going to be what is replacing your old Pstn and ISDN lines. Okay, so, we're talking about VoIP technology here as well. A lot of businesses have moved to VoIP already. But VoIP is the main technology that's going to replace your existing ISDN lines. And voice stands for Voice over Internet Protocol. And I think a lot of people are aware of VoIP as a terminology to do with phone systems. And It basically allows your telephone service to be delivered across the internet because it only requires an internet connection to work. So you don't have the costly old-fashioned analog phone lines in your offices. So with VoIP, you get things like better call quality, greater flexibility, and a lot more features than the old ISDN lines. So coming back to the main point of today's episode, which is talking about SoGEA, because like I said, this is a new terminology and technology that you're going to hear a lot more about. So, another question that people will have is, what kind of speeds can we get? So you can get download of up to 80 megabits per second because it uses the same technology as fiber to the cabinet, or FTTC, which a lot of businesses have in place already. Another benefit is that it's going to be much faster to get services installed because we have one order. I mean, it's in the name, right? Single order. So rather than having to place an order for the line and the broadband separately as what has been done in the past, there's going to be one order, one thing to process for BT, and one job to get the connection up and running. So I guess a logical question a lot of businesses will have is it going to be cheaper? And, from what I can see at the moment, the answer is yes, because you don't have a traditional, voice line and a broadband. So typically your costs would have been split into two. You'd have had the cost for the line rental and then the cost for the broadband. With SoGEA, you literally just have, one cost for the connection. Now, what are the downsides? Well, SoGEA doesn't transmit any voice. So you cannot just plug a normal analog phone into it and make a call like you would just now on your current setup, which might be a PSTN line with broadband. You could plug a phone into the wall socket and make a call on the number there. With SoGEA, it's purely a data connection. If you need to have voice and data on a line, then fiber to the cabinet, which is an existing technology that most people will probably have right now, can be used for that. However, for businesses, most businesses have a phone system, and a lot of people still have an on-premise phone system. So you might have, phone system or, PBX bolted to the wall somewhere in your premises, and then all your phones talk to that. Now, I just want to interrupt this episode just for a few seconds, and I'm going to throw a shameless plug at you. Now, I've noticed quite recently that our YouTube channel has been getting a larger number of subscriptions. Now, it's not thousands, but certainly we're into, I think we're approaching almost 200 subscribers on YouTube now. And I think this is because we've been posting our tech update videos every single week. So we're starting to see a lot of people starting to engage on YouTube. So if you've not already checked out our YouTube channel, just go into YouTube and search for M3 Networks Limited, or just M3 Network, and you'll see the green circle with the M3 logo in it, and you'll be able to go and subscribe and see all of our tech update videos right there. Now let's get back to this week's episode. Of course, a lot of businesses have made the switch to VoIP already, and the whole idea behind what BT are doing here is that the way they see it is that businesses, and especially in the small, medium-sized businesses, will have a SoGEA connection for their internet access, and then they will pair that with a hosted VoIP telephone system, which is obviously hosted in the cloud. And of course, your choice for hosted VoIP is pretty vast. BT actually provide hosted VoIP. We provide hosted VoIP to our customers here at M3 Networks. So that is what your internet setup and your phone system is going to look like in the next few years. And of course, it's always better to plan to do these things rather than waiting until you're forced to do it, because you're going to find obviously shortages of hardware and things like that near the time, because as people, look to upgrade and, their handsets to work with a VoIP system. Of course, seen a lot of people choosing to go handsetless. I just had this conversation yesterday with a customer, moving to using, headsets with your laptop or your PC along with an app on your phone, because nowadays, we could work anywhere, right? And it's important that your phone system is wherever you work. So why be tied to, a phone on your desk in the office? Because if you're sitting in Starbucks, you want your phone system to be there. If you're sitting in a lay-by at the side of the road in your car, you need your phone system to be there. And if you're working at home, you want your phone system to be there too. So wherever you are is where your phone system is. And the flexibility nowadays of how you can access your phone system, things like voicemail to email, things that make your life a lot simpler, so you don't have to then dial in and listen to voicemails. You can have them sent to you as an attachment in an email. A lot of these features are things that people are going to benefit from moving from a traditional on-premise phone system. And then you get the flexibility of being able to easily change your phone system because it's all cloud-based and it's administered through like a central control panel. It makes it very, very easy to make changes to your phone system, to add new extensions, to remove things, and like I say, just make any configuration changes that are needed through the course of your business. So what's my advice on what businesses should do now? Well, if you've not already made the switch to a VoIP hosted phone system, then I would recommend that is the first thing that you think about doing, because once your phone system's out into the cloud, it removes any requirement from any of the services that you have on premise. Things like being able to port your existing phone numbers across the VoIP system are possible. These things, can take a few weeks to happen, whatnot. But the migration from on-premise to cloud is seamless. There's no downtime in your phone system. There is certainly the way we do it. Obviously, I can't speak for all technology and IT companies about how they handle that process, but certainly here at M3, there's absolutely no downtime for customers when they're making the transition to a VoIP phone system. You're also probably going to see a reduction in your telecoms costs from what you're paying for right now. Typically, we see anything between 40 and 60% reduction on your monthly costs for telecoms once you move to VoIP. So loads of benefits, and there's absolutely nothing stopping you doing it from right now and being ahead of the game so that you don't end up in 2025 at the start of December panicking that your phone system is going to be dead in a month. If you want to have those chats with me, of course, I'm always available to get a 15-minute call with. It's something I offer anybody. You can book that via our website. I think it's on pretty much every page on the website, actually. You'll be able to find the link to do that. If you just want to type that in right now, you can head over to m3networks.co.uk/meet Mark, and you'll be able to see my live calendar where you can pick a 15-minute slot that suits your calendar, and we can start to have a chat about how we can help with these things.
Techcess is an M3 Networks podcast. Find out more at m3networks.co.uk.